Hey there, friends. This is Bill MacDonald, the writing doctor. We're down to our last two questions on the mini-me minion of the most difficult revising test in the history of mankind. It was the 2018 revising portion of the test for fourth grade. And these last four questions that I've gone over two yesterday, if you can look through my page, and there'll be two today. And I'm also going to do a how to hook the reader video. So make sure you watch that one, because we don't want all of our students starting their essays with the same hook, the same lead or attention getter, because the booklet has a barcode in it. And even though you might be teaching a very similar attention getter to your students that you think that the readers won't realize, well, because of the barcoding, one of my friends who is an ETS grading manager told me that because of the barcoding on the test booklets, the way they get inputted into the computers to be graded, it's very often where the reader is reading essays from not just the same district or campus, but from the same classroom. So be careful about teaching everybody to start the same as each other, the same type of hook. So I'm going to show you on that next video how to add a sentence that adds depth. That's a revising question. Whenever you're adding depth to an introduction, it's better known as a hook or a lead. But this video today is going to be about how to add a topic sentence. So if you see my hand here, every paragraph, this is my palm. So all they had to do is read a paragraph and find out, okay, what's the main idea of this paragraph, so that we can give a good topic sentence. The topic sentence that's there on sentence 14 is one that is considered too vague, and we want one that's more specific to the specific supporting sentences, the content of paragraph 3. And the question like this one on the test in fourth grade in 2018 only had 39% correct. So try this strategy, and it's just using a hand. Remember this simple thing. The hand is a paragraph or a passage. The palm is either the main idea of the paragraph or the central idea, controlling idea, thesis, or position of a passage. Because when you touch the middle of your palm and wiggle your muscles, you can feel all of them moving. But if I only touch the introduction paragraph, the topic sentence, and wiggle my muscles, I can't feel them. And a lot of times it's what they're wanting your kids to do in the introduction of the passage or in the topic sentence of the paragraph that the kids have a hard time with, because even though it's the first sentence or a sentence added in the first paragraph, it's something that the whole paragraph should be about, or the entire passage. And so have your kids try that on Monday and remind them about main ideas added to paragraphs called topic sentences, or central ideas, controlling ideas, thesis statements, and positions added to passages. The next video only got 42%, and it was about adding a central idea to a passage. And you teachers in 7th, 9th, and 10th would just call that a controlling idea, thesis, or position. So remember, 3rd and 4th are going to call it central idea. 5th, 6th, and 7th graders should call it a controlling idea. 8th and 9th grade would call it a thesis, and 10th through 12th grade, if they're doing persuasive, would call it a position where you're trying to take a position and get people to believe and think like you do. With expository, you're just explaining what you think, believe, and feel, and it doesn't really matter if the reader believes it or not. You just have to explain what you mean. So let's take a look at the question that we're going to be trying to analyze here. Zoom in nice and big for you guys so you don't have any trouble seeing it. We're on our last two questions. This one is going to be number 6, and we had said it's from pages 389 through page 393. So this one would be in the binder. It would be page 392 in your digital or hard copy, and it's going to be question 6 for this video, and we'll do question 4 about adding a central idea to a whole paper on the next video. So be sure to be looking for that sometime this afternoon or evening. So here we go. Number 6. It was like number 8 in the test in 4th grade, 39% correct. So not very well done. And all they were having to do was add one sentence. Let's find out what that sentence was. Joan would like to provide a better sentence to introduce the ideas. As soon as you hear that, if you're introducing ideas in a paragraph, it's a topic sentence. For sentences 14 through 20. Which of these could best replace sentence 14 and provide a more effective topic sentence? Okay, so that's our question. We've read it, we've underlined, and we've labeled. I've already gone to the passage and underlined and labeled. And what I've done is I've used my graphic organizer of the hand that I told you about so that we can see, well, in order to have a good topic sentence, we have to find out the keywords. We have to hashtag the keywords from each sentence. So sentence 14, the original topic sentence said, lots of other things about playing video games. Well, lots is vague. Other things about playing video games. Well, because it doesn't say if those are good or bad things. We don't know if it's positive or negative. So that's vague. So they're gonna ask your kids to take it out and put in something that's more specific. Well, in order to be a good topic sentence, we've got to find out what the bottom sentences are. So sentence 15 said, playing video games is going to result in less time for other beneficial activities. That's a negative. Sentence 16 says the quality family time is going to it disappears. That's a negative, up and down arrows. Kids playing video games during family time, that's not a good thing, because instead of talking and connecting with your family, you'll be playing video games and your eyes and your ears will be focused on that instead. Less and less exercise, because you can only do so many things in one day. So that's a negative. Kids are going to be eating unhealthy snacks. Sentence 19, negative for unhealthy. And because of that, it's going to result in them gaining weight. Sentence 20. So what we want is something that introduces the fact that all of these negative things could happen from playing video games. So that's what we have to infer. We have to read between the lines that they're wanting us to give a negative topic sentence to introduce the ideas. So let's see what our choices are. Letter F says children should spend less time playing video games. That would be a positive thing. And more time doing other things that are beneficial. Since that's not mentioned in the passage and these are just positive, you wouldn't want to have a positive topic sentence if all of the bottom sentences, all the supporting sentences are about negative aspects. So letter G says family time will suffer if children spend too much time playing video games. That wouldn't be a good topic sentence because it's only about one of the fingers, one of the sentences. If kids eat too much junk food while they're playing games, they become healthy and gain weight. That's only about sentence 20. You wouldn't want the first sentence to be only about the last sentence. And letter J, there are other negative effects that can result from playing video games too long that many people don't even think about or realize. Negative effects, that is negative because of the word negative itself. Okay, so the cause, playing video games, the effect, the negative effects that they're going to mention inside the paragraph. So I would suggest that you have your kids learn cause and effect because of all of those things, negative things are going to result. So we'll pick letter J and we'll eliminate F, G, and H. So we have 3 checks for elimination, 2 checks. And so I didn't need to read the whole passage. I can just tell that this passage is nothing but negative content. But perhaps the kids struggled because it was already the 3rd paragraph or the 4th paragraph. I can't remember how many paragraphs there were in that passage, but the key thing to think about here is by the time they get to the 3rd paragraph, their energy has drained. And so I've mentioned to you several times that these sentences that are about entire paragraphs or my next video about an entire passage should always be done towards the end because we want to build and scaffold so that we do the questions from the easiest one to the most difficult one, like I kind of did for you in the videos about this passage. I'll go ahead and open up the link for the other ones so that you can see those as well. God bless you guys and have a great day. Oh, let me really quick show you. Some of you were asking me to put it on the on a video, so I'll do that right now. The wanting some information about trainings this spring and this summer. I have a special price. Always, I've done this just to make life simpler for a lot of you. The focus will be English and Spanish language arts, reading, writing. I'm a sole source vendor, a research-based consultant. If you are in the lower Rio Grande Valley, it's only $1,000 a day, $1,250 per day out of the lower Rio Grande Valley to go to your campus or your district. And as I mentioned in a previous video, if you guys are willing to open up your campus to outside teachers, then I do away with the $1,250 quote or price, and you can pay the same price as everybody else as long as you're willing to open up the training to, you know, anywhere between 5 to 25 or an unlimited amount of teachers. The trainings all spring and summer will include a digital copy of the binder, folders, graphic organizers, and a hard copy of the full color handouts. Okay. To ask about the trainings, you can email me at writing_doctor@yahoo.com. Message me. If you actually type, may the fours be with you, you'll be able to find the reading, writing, ELAR club. If you go to Teachers Pay Teachers, you'll be able to find my store. If you go to my website, you can purchase hard copy materials and a lot of webinars, some posters, some hard copies of things that we want to make sure that we understand that writing in reading should be scaffolded in all grade levels. It can be with teachers or students in pre-K all the way to 12th. The purposes could be expository, informative, persuasive, personal narrative, and stories. And the big transition here is writing as part of reading, ELAR. In 3rd through 10th grade, I also will do Spanish for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. students in editing and revising. And the structures of the open-ended, they're either single sentence, short answer, extended answer, and sometimes essay responses. I will be able to show you how to do any variation of those depending on which grade levels we work with. Some of the questions on the field test this May will be on editing, known as conventions, capitalization uses punctuation, spelling, run-ons, and fragments, or revising the content, when you add, remove, replace, or move words, phrases, transitions, and sentences to a paragraph or to a whole passage in reading, ELAR, and Spanish classrooms. You have the option to purchase the hard copies of the materials, but that's not necessary. It's going to be $100 per teacher if you want to do that. I also offer math training because I am a math minor. I taught all subjects for 12 years, and I used the 5 senses, a total physical response to teach math, and the same thing to teach reading. We can have some specific reading content. Let me show you kind of how that works. The graphic organizer for revising is set up this way, where the reading is the content, either the paragraphs or the passages, and the revising is the improving the content, the arm, the adding, removing, replacing, and moving the content. And so you can merge those two worlds, the reading and the writing world. And then, of course, if you have your own written content, you would be editing the content. If that's the passage, then all you would be doing would be cups. So I'd be holding a cup to practice capitalization, usage, punctuation, S for spelling on my shirt, run-ons, and fragments for sentence boundaries. So there you have it. Be sure to message me if you'd like some information on trainings, or if you would like a couple of specific videos this month in April to help you reading teachers from 3rd through 8th grade prepare, because I know that you guys are in a little bit of a stress mode. So I want to be able to help you out. Share this video with your friends. If you're watching it on YouTube, go ahead and like it for me, please. So subscribe and share or tag your other writing teacher friends. Thanks and God bless.